Hello, everyone. It is currently Friday, July 29th. This is Oliver Friesen speaking, the CEO of Golden Metal Resources. I'm starting a new series where I'm going to highlight additional technical details about the four projects in our portfolio. We recently announced that we've commenced exploration at our flagship Pilot Mountain project, as well as at Garfield. So I'm going to start with those two, and then we will carry out a few more videos on the other assets in the portfolio over the coming weeks. So what we're looking at here is Garfield, which is one of the more grassroots assets in the portfolio. But as you'll see by the presentation today, we're quite excited about this asset. So it's 100% owned. And what you're looking at here is an outline of the actual project colored in black here. As you can see, these sort of brownish type lines, those are ATV tracks. So as you can see, this property is very well accessed, which makes exploration a lot easier to carry out and cheaper as well. On top of that, there's some black symbols here. Those are from the USGS. They essentially highlight historic workings, scratchings, old mines, adits, pits, things like that. So as you can see, there's been a lot of work carried out across the project historically, which is obviously a very good sign. And what I'm going to divert your attention to here is this small little area here, which highlights a historic soil sampling survey that was done by the previous operators. This is copper that's showing here. This return results up to 0.3% copper or 3,000 parts per million, which is very good grades for soil sampling results. But more importantly, this is essentially the extent of the property that we acquired. And since then, obviously, you can see that we've built this property out quite significantly. The reason for that is, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the soil sampling and I'm going to turn on the rock sampling that was done. These are some historic results which were carried out by the previous operators. You can see there was some nice copper grades over this historic area that was focused on, with results up to almost 2.5% copper. But following that, there was some additional sort of quick prospecting that was done across a broader area. If you move down here to the southwest, there was some results up to 2.6% copper. And then moving further east, we're looking at results up to 5.5% copper. So obviously getting really exciting. Just to give you guys some reference here, I'll figure out the distance between these showings. So from there to there is about 1 kilometer. And then from there down to the southeast is about 1.5 kilometers. So obviously the scale of this mineralization here is growing. On top of that, there's not just copper. So I'm going to info this particular rock sample here, which gives you an indication as the description. So as you can see here, the copper percentage, I'll just scroll down here. There it is, 2.88%. But what's interesting is the gold here at 0.6 grams per ton, as well as 3 parts per million silver. So obviously there's more than just copper here. There's also gold and silver, which is something to keep in mind. So what we did back in 2021 is we did an airborne aster survey. The results are shown here. And what's interesting is this essentially the hotter color is indication of copper mineralization within the district. So as you can see over the historic area that was focused on, there's not really much of a response. Down here to the southwest, you're getting a stronger response. And then here to the southeast, we're getting a much stronger response. And I'm going to turn on the rock samples here just one more time. You'll see that it's actually quite coincident with where the copper mineralization has been found. So this is obviously a very good tool that we have here to figure out where exactly to focus our future work. So I'm now going to turn off the rock sample results. And obviously the next step here, the soil sampling was done over a very small area. So we're excited about what we're seeing here. And one more thing I'm going to flip on here just to show you guys, one more reason why we're so excited here is skarn mineralization is typically hosted within limestone's carbonate type units. So that's what we're looking for geologically in terms of finding additional mineralization here at Garfield. So I'm going to turn on some historical mapping done by the USGS. And these blue units here that I'm highlighting with my mouse, these are limestone units that have been mapped. And these are the areas, like I said, limestone is what we're looking for, carbonate rock. So these are the areas where we're going to be looking for our strongest skarn type mineralization. So as you can see, there's some nice limestone units mapped here and here as well. And just to flip on the aster results again, well, as you can see, they're very coincident, which is obviously a really good sign. So as we stack the layer on, the data on, the story is getting more and more compelling. So I'm going to flip that off. I'm going to flip the, I'm going to leave the actual, the limestone and the geological mapping on here. And then now I'm going to flip on the work that we're currently doing. So there it is there. It's these white symbols. I'm actually just going to turn them black so you can see them better against the background. But there they are there. We're carrying out oh, sorry about that. 1 second. So if I turn on the feature count here, 468. So we're doing a very robust high resolution survey. As you can see, it's tighter spacing over some of these historic areas where we have our limestone units. On top of that, I'm going to flip this on one more time just so you can see all these layers sort of stacked together. So the black soil samples are currently being taken right now by our contractor in the States. Once we have all these soils retrieved, they're going to obviously go off to the lab for full multi-element analysis. So as you can see here, we're going to have really interesting coverage over this southwest area, which has not received much attention. We're going to get additional coverage over the original property area. And then I think most importantly, we're going to be getting really good coverage. I'm just going to flip this one on top. Going to be getting really good coverage over this new eastern area where we have up to 5.5% copper, as well as a sample of 2.8% copper. On top of that, we have those limestone outcrops, which is where we're looking for our skarn type mineralization. And then on top of that, we have our strongest aster response. So we're going to get really good coverage over these areas. So I think this is definitely one to keep your eye on. It's as I mentioned, it's a much more grassroots asset. But as you can see here, the results and stacking on the additional layers of data are certainly getting interesting. So this is one I'm quite excited about, as you can probably tell by the tone in my voice. But I'm going to be doing more of these videos. Golconda and Pilot Mountain will be next, followed by Stonewall. So keep your eye on our Twitter. We'll be putting these videos out, and any questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks.